I'm really on my own. Like, fuck, dude. I left everything I've known behind. Dude, it's like so on the surface. I'm gonna cry. Maybe I should have waited until I processed my emotions around this before I started talking on a podcast. Hello, and welcome back to DaPoddy. For those of you who have perhaps been keeping up with my journey, guess where the fuck I am right now? I'm in California. I finally made it. It's been a long time coming because this has been a dream of mine for many years. Many, as in 2 or 3, which is a long time for someone who is the age of a toddler. Me, clearly. I'm kidding. This has been a dream of mine for the past couple years. So yeah, I'm here, and today has been specifically an emotional day because it feels like the first day that I'm fully stepping out into this completely alone. I was fortunate enough, and I had a friend convince me that it would be a good idea to try to make it out in time for one of our friends' parties so I'd be able to meet some people, which is especially helpful when you're traveling alone, to like meet some friends and have opportunities to do that. So I went, and I was kind of like this last minute decision where I was super in and out of it, and I was like, oh, I don't think I'm ready. I literally need to make this sheet to put up to cover the bottom of my kitchen. I could not possibly do that anywhere else other than the greatest Boulder, Denver, Colorado area. So I realized that was a bullshit excuse, and there's been a lot of times where I felt unprepared and not ready, and it was actually genuine. I wasn't ready, and I was rushing something, and I really sat down, made a pros and cons list, because it was like, okay, if I decide to go, I'm gonna have to go tomorrow. So I was just in this huge analysis paralysis where I was like, fuck, do I make this huge leap of faith? And looking back on it, I realized it was more of an ego thing. It was more of I'm scared to step out of my comfort zone. I wrote this little saying, and it was referencing me being in indecision before going, and it was fear hidden behind reason. I had all these reasons as to why I shouldn't go, or not yet. I wanted to go, but not yet. And I realized that it was just fear, and I needed something to motivate me to get me out, because I knew if I didn't go then, and if I didn't have a reason to push and go, I was probably going to putz around for another couple weeks, a month, who knows how long. So it was good to have a reason to go, and Libby made it. She made it just fine, and Libby is my van, by the way, if you don't know. And so yeah, I went to the party, and my friend was like, hey, I have this acid, I made microdoses of it. Haven't tried it yet. You can try it first if you want. So I tried it, and I was like, fuck, dude, this is not a microdose. I am on acid all the way right now. The point being is that I drove a long distance, and I finished the drive, went to the party, got straight into it, and then did a bunch of acid. Earlier in the night, I was like, I don't know. I think I might go to bed early. I don't know how much I can do this. I ended up staying up until 5 p.m. the next day. So that happened, and it was a lot of fun. And I ended up making a couple good friends that some that I really want to dive in deeper with and get to know more. And then one that later would become one of my good friends. And yeah, so the party happened, and then I was planning on staying in the area where the party happened for just a couple days, because I assumed there wasn't much happening, but I learned that there was. It was Nevada City and Grass Valley area in California, and it has small town vibes, but there's always something happening. So I ended up spending a week or so there. And I ended up hitting up one of the people that I met at the party and ended up spending a lot of time with him. And he's been so lovely and has really helped me feel at home in California, and specifically Nevada City. I am grateful for him and for meeting him. He's definitely going to be a lifelong friend now. And I met him the first day that I got to California, and I had this sense later in the night where I was like, oh, this is my brother. He's going to be a part of my life for a while, which is super cool. That's my intention for coming out here, is meeting more people and meeting more brothers and sisters and building a little community for myself and having people to visit every time I travel somewhere. And yeah, so that has been very lovely. And I've been seeing that I've been so taken care of I took this huge leap of faith, and because I put my trust in God, God has put its trust in me and is going to show me why everything was worth it. I've been so held. I've let go of control. I've made huge life leaps, and I've just been like, okay, God, I am all yours. Show me the next steps. I'm just here. I've been in this like sloth energy, which is a totem that showed up when I got to Salt Lake, which was 8 hours into my drive or so. And then at the party, there were some people wearing sloth shirts, and I loved those people. They're so great. I want to get to know them more. But I realized that that's one of the totems for me right now, which is sloth. And I was like, spiritual meaning of sloth. Let me Google that. And then I realized after I Googled it, I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. It's very obvious. Sloth vibes. You know, like just chilling, hanging, figuring out my next steps as they go, and enjoying life and all of its pleasures and all of its, you know, everything that it has to offer me, and not being in this go, 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 like I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do whatever. And it's been this just taking it moment by moment and figuring out my next steps as I go, which has been an energy that I don't know if I've ever fully been in this way in my life. It's been good for me. It's like this super relaxed nervous system vibe where it's like, okay, like I'm taken care of. I'm meeting people that take care of me on my path as I embark on these new journeys, and I'm just taking it slow. I'm not in the rush to go here, here, or here. I'm just enjoying the journey, and it's been a really beautiful time. However, that being said, that was kind of just like the initial jump of me getting out here and me doing the thing that I have wanted to do for a long time, and that's kind of scary because I left everything that I've known. So that's kind of what I've been sitting with today, and what was starting to come up with, dude, it's like so on the surface. I'm gonna cry. It's like what's on the surface for me right now, and it came up yesterday. I've been spending the last few days with one of my good friends from Boulder, and he was at the party, and then he left, and then he came back, and I spent like 3 or 4 days with him, and he just left this morning to go back. And now I'm in a different city. I was planning on leaving Nevada City, and now I'm like in Tahoe, which is still pretty close to Nevada City, but it's now like I don't have the friend that I have in Nevada City, and I know that maybe I should have waited until I processed my emotions around this before I started talking on a podcast. And I no longer have my friend from Boulder. It was really lovely to have him with me as I made this transition, because it was like a piece of my old life connecting with my new life, which made the unknown feel more familiar. And yeah. So now this is the first day that feels like I'm really on my own. Like, fuck, dude, I left everything I've known behind. And I had a really good life in Boulder, Denver, but it was feeling like that time for me to transition and do something new. And it was just this moment of being like, holy shit, what the fuck did I just do? Like, of course I could just drive back, but it's different. I'm not gonna do that, you know? It's like I'm here now, and I am now doing this shit on my own, and it's scary. There's all these fears that come up. And it's this whole new way of being where I no longer have a comfort zone. I am completely in the unknown. I'm all the way out there. I'm completely creating a new path for myself. And before I made the contact to connect with the friend that I met at the party, I was kind of vibing in Nevada City by myself for a while, and I decided to go to an ecstatic dance, which is one of the main hippie things to do there. So I made the effort to go and do that all by myself. And ecstatic dances, they're kind of like an introspective thing. So it wasn't as hard to like go to that and not know anybody. And I realized that it's not the best way to meet people because the dance floor is literally a silent space. So I was like, okay, great. Well, this was a great idea in theory. You know, there's going to be a bunch of people that are probably my vibe and I would vibe with. But it's a silent dance floor, so we ain't talking, bitch, you know? And yeah, and I learned from one of the locals that one of the like Cavo, Kratom mocktail bars is where they have the after party. And I went there earlier and I treated it like a coffee shop, did my shit on my computer. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll bring my computer into the after party or whatever. And then I drove past and I was like packed with people and there was a DJ and I was like, okay, that is not what this vibe is. And I was just going to bring that to be like, okay, if I have no one to talk to, I can sit on my computer. But it would be really weird to go into a club and just bring your laptop and start typing. So that was the vibe that would have happened if I would have done that. So I didn't do that. It was kind of like, oh shit, here we go. I'm stepping in. I'm walking into this bar all by myself. Yeah, that was intimidating. And it was a great learning experience for me because there's a grasshopper in my van. It was interesting because it's not like this space where everybody's like out to meet other people. It's people in their hometown who are hanging out with their friends. They're not necessarily going to go up to you and talk to you because they already have friends. They're not necessarily looking for more. And I realized that, oh shit, this is the time for me to somehow figure out how to go up to them and communicate with them, and no one's really going to come to me. And that is super out of my comfort zone. I don't normally go up to people and interact with them. Like, that's not something that I've just done my whole life. It's been like by chance, or they come up to me, or it just happens, you know? So I was like, okay, that's a learning experience, noted. Just need to figure out how to feel confident, and you just kind of have to do it. But it would just also feels weird to walk up to people chilling with their friends on the couch and being like, hey, hi, what's up? And then being like, hey, hi, who are you? And after talking to my friend later who lives in that town, I realized that it might have been not only me not knowing how to step out of my comfort zone, but also just the way that they're kind of cliquey over there. So it's just like, I learned a lesson on how I can be more like putting my energy out there. And it also could just be that this place isn't naturally like welcoming in new people, you know, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just like, maybe it's not all my fault. Nonetheless, I danced there. It was a lot of fun, but it was also like this defense mechanism where there was a point in time where dancing was uncomfortable for me, so I wouldn't have even done that. But it was like a defense mechanism for me this time to go up and dance, because it was like, well, I don't know who to talk to. It's just weird walking up in the middle of other people's conversations, you know? So I just danced. It was also a learning experience of realizing now in retrospect how I was limiting myself when I was in Denver. And I really didn't realize this until I stepped out into the world onto my own and started trying to meet new people, is that I was falling into the comfort zone of my friend group. And that's something that my friend who was out here with me was talking about, because he's done van life, where it's very easy to fall into just hanging out with the friend group that you have and not going out and meeting new people. And that didn't register for me until I had this experience of going to the ecstatic dance all by myself, where it was like so confronting. It was so confronting with all my fears and insecurities of, I don't know how to make friends. I'm not naturally outgoing. All those things just came up to the surface, and I have been not dealing with that or not confronting that when I was in Denver, because I just had my friends, and it was like, okay, cool, a new friend enters the friend group, okay, they're my friend. There's like one time where I went out in Boulder where I was ready to meet new people, and I met a new friend and then eventually hung out with them and met their friend group. But that was one fucking time out of over 6 months of living there. And I realized how I was just like living in my comfort zone completely, and I wasn't making the effort to make new friends. And yeah, and that's on me. If I was starting to be like, oh, like some things about my friend group aren't aligning with me or feeling like a full fuck yes sometimes, that's on me for not going out and meeting new people. So I'm like, okay, these people give me this aspect that I'm looking for, and these people give me this other aspect that I'm looking for. And then my friend group gives me whatever they give me. So it's not all this pressure for certain groups to fulfill everything inside of me that I need, like every need. It's like expecting one person to fulfill everything that you need, and that's just not going to happen. And there's beauty to making different friends and meeting different people, because they bring out different sides of yourself, and they show you different ways of life. That was an interesting moment for me to realize how I was getting stagnant in Denver, and I didn't even realize it until I left. And now that I feel like that's something that I'm going to remind myself in the future whenever I settle down in one place, where to remind myself to like continue to put myself out there periodically and meet new people and put myself in uncomfortable situations so I can grow. The whole reason that I met my friend group in the first place was because I put myself in uncomfortable positions. Like, I went to a festival all alone, met a few people, and then we went to a different festival together, and then we met all these people that became my close-knit friends. That came from stepping outside my comfort zone and doing something alone. And so it's like, if I continue to exercise that muscle, I will continue to like manifest more and more magic and whatever for myself, because I feel like the universe rewards people who step out of their comfort zone. And yeah, so I could look at me going to the ecstatic dance and not meeting any new friends as like a failure, but I don't, because I learned a lot about how I need to be with my energy. And it needs to be this like open, soft smiles when people look at me. And when I was back home, I realized how closed off I made my energy. When I was going to shows or concerts, there would be opportunities to connect with new people, but I would just kind of say like a couple lines or something and then shut it down and not really be open to it. Looking back, I didn't realize how unopen I was, because now it's like if someone initiates anything with me, I'm going to fully like be in it. I'm looking to expand my network. I'm looking to meet more people. And I just wasn't looking for that back home. And for a while, it was me harnessing this inner bitch that I've never felt comfortable showing to the outer world, where it's like, no, like, I don't want to talk to you. Don't look at me. Don't fuck with me. Whatever. I'm not in the mood. And for a while that felt empowering. And then after a while, it became something that I hid behind, where it's like, I don't really care to meet new people. I don't really care to whatever. And I realized now that I was just really uncomfortable with interacting with new people because it's something I'm unfamiliar with. So yeah, that was some deep shit to realize. And yeah, that brings us to now, where I was hanging out with my friend for a while, and now I am back on my own, and I'm figuring out my next steps as I go. As we learned, the one festival I wanted to go to didn't happen, and it was funny because a lot of people at the party actually go to that festival, so I met quite a few people that attend that festival. But I found a different one. The lineup's not a full fuck yes for me, but the venue is beautiful. It's in the Redwoods. It's not about the music, it's about meeting more people and experiencing the magic of a festival. So that's something that I might attend here in July. And that's looking like my next best step in order to meet new people. And there's no better place to meet new people than at a festival, because people are there to like interact and meet new people. That's just the essence of a festival. There's this huge openness from everybody. Like you can play with anybody. And yeah, that's a unique and a special experience that I think will be very important for me, who's looking to meet new people out here. There's a little fuzzy that flew in my window. That is where I'm at. And yeah, it's just been an emotional day because I'm back out on my own and I'm extremely confronted with all of my insecurities and fears. It's this constant hello and goodbye that I'm experiencing. And yeah, so I was just coming off of a high of finally leaving the nest and being free. Tomorrow I could be like, oh my God, I'm so alive. I love it here. It's amazing. I'm so happy I made this leap of faith in life. And then some time will pass and I'll be like, what did I do? Like, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I don't know where I'm sleeping tonight. Why am I living a life like this? And yeah, so I'm just expecting the phases in and out of this experience. And yeah, so just right now I'm in this like, holy shit. It's the first time that I've really sat with the fact that, what did I just do is the question that I was asking myself. Before it was just like, did I seriously just drive here? I just like didn't register for like a while. And I was like, I seriously just changed up my life. And it was just like this catching up with my brain. And now it's just like this, what did I do? What did I leave behind? And I know whatever comes next is going to be a really beautiful, beautiful chapter of life. So yeah. I appreciate you for listening and keeping up with my journey. It's been a wild one, but also not so wild in other ways. But thank you. I'd appreciate if you support my channel or support my podcast thing, however you want. Thank you for being on this journey with me. And yeah, see you soon. Bye.